Hey, welcome everybody. Marlin Blakeney here, QWorld. Just wanted to say, and we're all dealing with this coronavirus, and through this times, we just want to make sure we give you guys good content. Keep regular people coming on, impactful people that have a great story. This is one of my good friends. You guys known him since 1995, 96, since the heyday when I got out of college. And he was my barber. First guy I got turned on to when I got out of college to get my fade tight. So if you want your fade tight, there's only one cat in Kansas City that you can see, and that was a man. And he's the man, the myth, the legend, Dejuan Bonds at Purple Label here in South Kansas City. I want to welcome you aboard, man. Welcome on, man.
Hey, Marlon, thank you for inviting me, bro. Long time no see.
Yeah, no, I know, right? I know. And Dejuan, I mean, you got a lot to talk about. It's just your background, your history. Things are really, I mean, you've done a lot over the years. I just think that Kansas City all may know a little bit about you, but we'll talk a little bit more about that, why they may know about you later. But right now, just talk a little bit about you and, you know, what you do and how you got involved with that.
Well, you know, barbering, first off, wasn't the career of choice for me, but it ended up being one of the best decisions that I had made in my life. Like all young guys and kids, you know, and young ladies, you know, we wanted to be an athlete of some type, you know. So that was one of my dreams and passions, to play a professional sport. But you know, that wasn't the plan that God had for me. So, you know, I ended up playing baseball at a junior college level. After that, I ended up going to barber school. I enrolled in barber school. So it's funny that my mom had said to me, or I had told my mom and dad, I said, hey, you know, kind of burnt out on baseball. You know, I don't really want to play anymore. And, you know, with me, playing sports kind of kept my grades at the average that they were supposed to be, because we all know that without the grades you can't play. So, you know, I knew that was a motivation for me. So without a sport, I probably wouldn't have been too motivated to get my studies and have the grades that I needed to maintain a great GPA. So, you know, I was like, you know, I'm done with it. I don't really do it anymore. So my mom was like, well, that's fine. You're going to find yourself something to do, like all moms do. You know, oh, you're not going to just lay around here. You're going to find something to do. So that's kind of the song that I got. You know, and I was like, well, I don't know what else I want to do, you know? And I did not want to be a barber, but she was like, hey, why don't you go enroll in the barber school? And I was like, barber? That's not for me. I just the house for the homies, you know, getting those toilet bowl cuts, go back in high school. So she found that it was, you know, a gift that I had quite naturally because I had taught myself. Right. So I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. So her and my dad both drove me down to the barber college, enrolled me in it. You know, I was 19, getting ready to turn 19, 18, 19, because I had graduated school at 17.
Oh, I got you.
So I was like maybe 19 when I went down, or actually completed part of the course. And you know, I had already knew how to cut hair going in, but what I did learn there, what the school taught me, you know, was the book side of things, were about the different disorders of the scalp and of the skin and things of that nature. And then also what it taught me too was how to be ready for where I am right now. And I did not know that because, you know, I knew how to cut going in, but it taught me speed and repetition, because the school I went to, it was like booming every day. I would get out of school with like 15 to 17 haircuts a day. Wow. And if the weekend came, you can almost guarantee that would be on 20. So the school was popping, and it taught me stamina, it taught me speed, and I was able to prepare myself for once I graduated school and got out into the workforce and into the barber realm. And actually, it wasn't that fast for me going into my first year of professional barbering. It was actually really, really slow. But I may be getting ahead of myself and going on into another whole area of questioning. But that's kind of how I got started with the barber.
Right. So the transition is really important. So what I like to talk to people about, and with QWorld, and the reason, just so everybody knows, caught up, even listening now, QWorld is I made QWorld from a hashtag positive move from the real world, only because real world seems to be sometimes used as a negative connotation, right? So when people say welcome to the real world, that means something bad normally happened, and you got to wake up and step up to the challenge to do better. So I made QWorld to say, everybody's living in this world. Everybody has good times and bad times. Those through struggles and strife. Success is always good. Everybody has things to celebrate. So when I bring you on, like you, when I say the man, myth, the legend, your background and what you've been through and the success you've had is really remarkable, man. I mean, and it wasn't easy. So just to go in more further detail, like talk about that process from getting your first, like you had to get the building to have, your first barbershop, right? All that process is crazy. I'm sure people don't know.
Okay. Well, going into that, I started out working with my aunt in a salon where, I was the only barber there at the time. So, I slowly built a nice clientele right there where I thought I was doing really good. I began to start running, started getting my stride on. The word was getting around Olathe, Olathe, Kansas, which is the town that I had began my barbering career. And I began doing it and jumped off pretty good. So, just out of nowhere, she decides that, hey, this isn't working for me anymore. So I need to close my doors. I was like, wow, what am I supposed to do? And I'm 19. So, I'm thankful for clients that I had that began to be a mentor to me. And I was able to lean on him and ask him, what should I do at this time? And he said, well, I have a friend that I can talk to about getting you a possible building. So we went through all the ramifications and things like that to get that. And before you know it, 1 year after, starting my barber career, it was time for me to keep my name on the contract and open a business. It was kind of like forced upon me. It was like sink or swim.
Yeah.
So I ended up signing the contract, at least, and it was a very small building, which in fact is where you met me at, and that's kind of where I got my start. Soon after I met you, or before I had met you, that I had signed the lease and took some money that I had. Of course, you have to learn to save your dollar at some point. So I had saved a little bit of money to go out there and do a makeshift barbershop and enough to get me going. You know what I mean? I get the doors open, get some barber chairs, get some cabinetry made and all of that. Apologies. Guess we should turn off, huh?
Yeah.
So I ended up having to get that barbershop started a lot sooner than I wanted. So that was it, man. I was kind of forced to go out there at a young age and make adult decisions instead of being able to go out there at 19 years old, and have a good time with all my friends. I had to put my business hat on and run a barbershop, from a very young age. So from that point, I began to meet, well, first of all, my first athlete, I've been fortunate to be the barber to a lot of professional athletes,
Right.
Before you go there,
let's get before you go there, what I'm saying? Don't hit it with the goods, man. So basically, the process.
Okay, I'll calm down.
So you good? You good? You got the good stuff. We got a lot of cover. So, and that's what I want the listeners to understand is the process is humbling. Obviously, took a lot of work. I know the hours you was putting in were ridiculous. I mean, you talk about the hours you're working. How many hours a day? I remember some days you'd be there 8, 9 o'clock still working.
I mean, you know, with anything success, and you want to be successful in life, you have to actually do something. You have to put in the work. It's not going to come. So a lot of people hear my story and hear where I've been and seen what I've done and think that it just happened for me overnight, but it actually doesn't go that way. And everybody knows that anytime you have success, someone has been through anything. Let's just say for you know, playing football at KU, that's a success, because in my opinion, you know, I didn't make it there, so I'm not successful when it came to that particular thing. So a lot of people look at, well, wow, he got this, he got that, but you don't really know what that individual has actually went through. It's gonna be some pain and some suffering to get you where you want to go.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's get to this part though. This is what I think the community needs to understand too. I'm sure because of some of the history in the movies, and I mean, it's become a lot better. I think the Black community is becoming a lot more understood through a lot of different cultures now. But just to go through your idea, man, I think people should understand what is a Black barbershop mean to this community. Like, it's a really big deal. It isn't something that just a shop where people get a haircut. There's a lot of different things. You want to talk about your belief and what it means to the community and you know what you've seen.
Okay, yeah, you know, in the beginning when I opened up my first barbershop, it was called Naps Barbershop, and it was the first and only Black barbershop in Olathe, Kansas. You know, so it meant a lot to me to be the individual to establish the first Black-owned barbershop in that town. And it does a lot to the community, because as we all know, the barbershops are the cornerstone of the community, one of the cornerstones of communities and stuff like that. So that's where we come together, and you know, we of course take care of business as far as getting our haircut, but we also congregate and are able to meet people, and the businesses are formed and relationships are formed, and all the things that happen in the barbershop. You know, you can meet this individual that can help someone else along the way, which is one of the best things that I can find that can come through the barbershop, is just the association with meeting others and helping others.
See, I remember, not to cut you off, but I remember the first time I heard, like, there's certain artists I didn't hear until I got to the barbershop. Like 50 Cent, you can find me in the club when he came out. I didn't hear that till I came to your barbershop. Like, a lot of the cultural things that we learned from, you know, the Black community across the world. Like you said, clothing lines, styles, all that stuff you get at the barbershop, you know what I'm saying? Businesses, like you said, Black business owners I was meeting through your barbershop. All different types of variances. So yeah, you're right. The impact you have and you've had over, you know, the community. And not only that, that's why we ran into each other. I came to Olathe and I was like, where do I get my hair cut? So I just came from Lawrence, and I was like, well, I had a couple guys that were on a team cutting my hair down there, but I was like, where do I go in Olathe? And the first spot I got was you. I actually got lucky, because even back then I could tell your skill level was way higher than anyone had ever cut my head before. And not only that, it was your speed, man. It would take you less. I don't care how jacked up someone's head was that came into the shop. I mean, they could have nappy head, long hair, wild as heck, but you would knock anyone out, period. 10 to 15 minutes, you was out. They was out of seat, period. That was it. No question.
You know what? On that note, that goes back to the school training. That's what I didn't know that the school was training me for, because they're able to do haircuts in, I mean, crazy fast time. You know, and efficient haircuts too. It wasn't anything different. I could take you 30 minutes. It could take me 30 minutes, or it can take me 15, and it's going to be the same haircut. Right. So yeah, school trained me up for that.
Yeah, no doubt. So I got something to show you, because I want to talk about a community, because it's also multi-generational, I think. You know what I'm saying? I think people that come in and you take care of them from the day one, right? Then what they're going to do is they want to bring their next generation to you as well, to share their experiences, and also obviously to get good haircuts. But I wanted to share this with you real quick. This is not a recent one, but something that you took part in. Hold on 1 second, it's coming.
Okay.
Let me know when you see it. There you go. See what I'm saying? You see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if QWorld doesn't know, that's my two boys. Obviously they're younger there, but obviously because I came to you and as a young man, young businessman when I was growing up and becoming the man I am today, I wanted to make sure my kids enjoyed this same benefit of meeting one of the greatest barbers in the Midwest. I would say, not unless, and maybe in the country as well. But yeah, this is one time we brought them to your shop and you took time to cut their hair. Look at the tight cuts as usual, tight cuts. But yeah, took care of them, man. Yeah, I appreciate that.
You know what? I thank you for the compliments. You know, in my opinion, you said something that just, I think that a lot of people that are listening and viewing should understand. Like, great barber, in my opinion, is more than a haircut.
Right.
Like, I can be a great barber, but I'm not reliable. I'm not responsible. I'm not timely. I'm never meeting scheduled times that people set up. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So what makes a complete barber is more than just, oh, how good his skill is, how professional is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a lot of people, you know, wonder why they're not, a lot of barbers wonder why they can't grow.
Right.
Well, the growth is being complete. So you can cut the hell out of the head, but your business savvy, your business sense is lacking. So in that point, you're not going to be able to grow.
Very good point. Very good point. You're right, man. That's so true. and I'm not, it's not to harp on that, but there's certain things that I think there's nothing wrong. So we're not saying there's nothing wrong with, say you have a barbershop and you have just a certain group of people that you're good at and that's what you cut and you do well there. That's cool. But you're saying if you're trying to go to the next level of which you've been very successful in doing, you have to create and add more like skills outside of just cutting your hair to your arsenal, right? You know what I'm saying? Which you were very, very good at.
Right.
You're always good at making new networks. You could talk at many levels. Like you just talk. You could talk. You want to talk hip hop? We talk hip hop. You want to talk sports? We talk sports. You want to talk business? We talk business. But what I honestly thought you did the best at, no matter who sat at your chair, you asked a lot of questions, man. Back in the day, you used to always ask, so what you doing? How'd you do that? So how did it, you asked about the steps, like detailed questions. So you could take those little bitty pieces and move on with them, man. It was, phenomenal, man. It really was.
You know what that is? You know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Customer service.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like being good in business, no matter what it is making sure that you don't take for granted the fact that I need you.
Right.
I need you. I'm not in control of anything right now. So putting the client first, treat him exactly how you would like to be treated if you were in business or trying to patronize your business is all you have to remember.
Right. So let's take this to the next step, man. I mean, the big thing I've learned from you, which shocked me the first time, was like I came in the shop one day and you had the Chiefs players in there, man. I was like, hold on, what happened here? All of a sudden the Chiefs players was up in there. It was kind of tight though. I was like, this is all right here. Talking to everyone, sharing their stories. Like they was cool. Like it wasn't like they were like standoffish. They were just like normal peoples hanging out, which you don't get to see a lot of, in the real world. So let's talk about your transition. Like this is huge, man. Going from the step from owning, your own shop, getting it started the way you got started, setting it up in the time that you had to, learning the different crafts, which you had to learn real quickly. How'd you get to that level to meet the athletes like that, the pro athletes?
Well, it's funny how it's one haircut at a time. It's
Right.
treating everybody like you want to be treated. It's all the things that we already discussed. And what happened was it's about networking as well. There was a young lady that I had. This is the craziest thing ever. It's a young lady that I had dated, and me and her stopped dating, and things were on great terms. It wasn't an ugly breakup or anything like that. She actually turned on her boyfriend at the time to me, which was a professional athlete, Tony Richardson.
Oh yeah, T-Rex.
So yeah, it was wild that she was dating him, and her and I had previously dated, and she said, "Hey, he said I need a haircut." And just like you, the only person I can think of is
Right.
you. So that's how that went. And I kind of was like, "What? You want me to cut your ex-boyfriend? I'm your ex-boyfriend. You want me to cut your boyfriend?"
Yeah.
It was wild, and it was different. So me and him, not only did I cut his hair, it's about sacrifice too. Let's not forget that, because the day he called me, I was traveling. I was getting ready to catch an airplane in less than 3 hours.
What?
So I said, "Hey, you want a haircut? Okay, man, let's see how we can do it." He came over to my apartment.
Right.
He came over to my apartment at the time, got a haircut. I caught a flight. We exchanged numbers. The rest is history when it comes to my relationship with him, and how he and I became not only partners, we was playing Dreamcast together.
Right.
I bet you don't. The Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah.
We was playing that together. We was eating wings together, so we built a relationship. Became buddies, and from that, I nourished that relationship. I made that sacrifice, and then that one turned into multiplication and multiplication after that.
Right.
For where I ended up being a barber to right now where I am, Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
So if you want me to dig deeper, go ahead and shoot them to me, because I can dig a little deeper and give you a few more goodies.
Well, I mean, let's talk. So you got T Rich. This is what's really cool, because the transition from T Rich, and let me go back real quick. So for everyone listening, understand, everyone asks to be where they want to be. Everyone wants to be big, right? Everybody wants to be big time, wants to make more money, wants to to be able to afford to do the good things and the big things that the big people do. They have a lot of money to travel and blah, blah, blah. Everybody has that dream, right? To go on the beach in the wintertime and hang out, right? Or do things for your family, your kids, right? But when that call comes, it's never at the time you expect it. And what you just explained, I think happens to everyone. I think me too. I have a story just like that. When you get called upon to do what you say you want and you have to make that step, it's never the right time. Like you was going to the airport. You could have just said, "Hey, dog, I'll catch you later when I get back. Is that cool?" He probably wouldn't have called you back. Right? But you stepped in.
I lost the opportunity.
Right. But you made that sacrifice. Even if you would have missed your flight, you was going to take care of that business. So that's what I think a lot of people understand too. You want it, you got to make those sacrifices, and they're never at the time that you think. They're never convenient, is what I would say. They're not ever convenient. So, but anyway, talk about the transition from meeting him to now you cutting everyone's head from the Chiefs and getting that going. How that worked inside, in-house.
From that relationship with him, we can talk about all the in-between players. As I look around my room, I'm gonna need some help, because certain things there's so many things that I've done that I've forgotten. Right. So from that relationship with Tony Richardson and me doing great services for him, it's only like he is my model. He is who walked around. He is my canvas. He is the one that everyone, when they see him, they're gonna ask. You're talking about, as I look at my wall over here, you're talking about players like Eddie Kennison, Chris Holmes, Tony Gonzalez, Sylvester Morris, Dante Hall. Right. And then we can even go into Gio Gonzalez, who who's Major League Baseball. So that relationship has changed. I mean, has that one relationship has grown so many branches, and I'm now not just the barber for the Chiefs, I'm the barber for the Royals. I used to be the barber for KU. That just became a little bit too much for me, spreading myself a little bit too thin. So, me being down barber for the Chiefs and the Royals, all of that from the relationship with Tony Richardson, and then like Travis Kelce, more current players, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes right now. That's all stemming from that one relationship a long time ago.
Huge, man. That's huge. That's huge. And honestly, I mean, the way you work this and the way it's happened is truly a blessing. Obviously, it's a blessing to be there. But talk about how did you end up setting up where you went in and did the haircuts after practice? Like, how'd that evolve? Like, that you got involved doing that?
Oh, that was a crazy deal. One of the funny moments with that was Tony Richardson. We had acquired Bam Morris. Morris had just came from Pittsburgh at the time with some legal charges and legal case that was kind of surprising that the Chiefs wanted to take a chance on him, but there was a guy. There was a guy that was a player personnel who told Tony Richardson, like, hey, look, you're assigned to Bam Morris, to make sure that he is on point, A, B, and C. Don't let him out the sight, basically.
Wow.
So Bam came in and he was like, yo, I need a haircut. So of course, from that one relationship, Bam came through, and he and I became really good friends. And after the first haircut that I had performed on him, he was like, there's no one else going to touch my head. So they were getting ready to go to training camp. And, Lamont Winston was like, hey, get yourself groomed up. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna get my hair cut, unless Dejuan cuts. He's like, no, I have a barber. He said, is it Dejuan? He's like, no. Well, I'm not getting your hair cut. He was like, well, wait a minute, what do you mean? We can't have this. We cannot have you unkept because, he's on that case. So they were like, yo, man, haircut, your image, everything is important. We got to make sure that you get your hair cut. He's like, well, I'm not getting cut. So at that point, he was like, well, I need to find out who this Dejuan guy is. So he had then reached out to Tony Richardson, like, hey, man, I was talking about Dejuan. Who is that? He's like, oh, that's my barber. He's like, well, we need to talk to him. I need to have him in my office tomorrow. Right. So he goes to the office over at Arrowhead. I'm a little nervous. I'm like, man, this guy wants to see me.
Right.
He's a no-nonsense kind of guy. So I'm a young 20 in there, and he's like, that kind of guy. Yeah. He said, do you have a resume? I'm like, no, sir. I don't have a resume. I'm just a barber. I mean, I don't have a resume. So at that point, I had to figure out and make me up a resume really quick. Right. Because I didn't once again want to lose the opportunity.
Right.
So I got that resume to him. Next thing you know, he's like offering me a flight to River Falls to go up there to perform haircuts, and I did that for
they flew you to River Falls?
10 years with the team. Yeah, that was when they were going to River Falls, Wisconsin. And we could talk about haircuts on long days, man. Them were some of the longest days that I've ever had cutting. I'm talking about from flying in, and I'm not even at the practice facility yet. Players are like, yo, where you at? How long I'm about to be first? I'm about to go sit in the chair first. So let's just say I get there at 11 o'clock.
Right.
I'm cutting until 2 a.m.
Whoa! God!
I'm talking because that was like they had one off day. Had one off day. All the players were trying to get a haircut on the off day. Then they were traveling. I apologize. who would travel to Minnesota, which was like a 30-40 minute drive. So, they trying to do their thing. So there, a lot of players went and then a lot of players stayed. So the players that went, of course, went first. And the ones that were staying behind, they left me behind to cut to the wee hours of the morning. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
I don't know how that thing went, but
yeah,
10 years worth of that.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That's all. You made a lot of great relationships for that too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, some that are still lasting to today. Regardless if there's haircuts involved or not.
Right.
It was a great time. I'm glad to be a part of that.
On the Royals side, I mean, when did it? 'Cause that came in later. So how did he connect the Chiefs to the Royals? How'd that break in?
Wow, it's kind of the same connect. It branched off the same person. So my guy Tony, he had ended up dating I'm making it sound bad right now. He ended up dating another particular young lady, who had worked with the Royals. You know what I mean? And so one of the Royals players, brother, he was like, "Hey, I'm new to town.
Right.
Where I'm getting a haircut at?" She's like, "The only person I know is Dejuan."
Right.
So she reached out to me. I ended up going through the same procedure that I had to go through with the Chiefs.
And because you already knew it now. You knew what was up by now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was ready to battle with the Royals organization. But they did want reference from the Chiefs, kind of see my character reference from them. So I ended up going over there and performing haircuts for, Royals at the time. D Brown was the guy's name. I ended up doing D Brown.
Yeah, D Brown's big.
Some of the old other Royals was dead. Alex Gordon was a rookie. Yeah. So I was Alex rookie at the time. That relationship was established during that time, and it's wild because that relationship went on for I want to say that went on for like 2-3 years, and then Barry Bonds, that steroid scandal kind of rocked all of MLB.
Yeah,
and they need outside personnel, any services such as myself allowed on any MLB stadium premises.
Oh wow!
I
didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it was wild
They
because
put it down.
Yeah. So then at that point, I had to start doing house calls for the players that was left in town, like David DeJesus. I was going to his house regularly, and it jumped back off, and it's wild how it jumped back off because it was probably about a good 2 or 3 years that had taken place, and David was coming in town from Oakland. He was then playing with the A's. Right. He was like, "Bro, I need to get a cut." I said, "Well, shoot, I know you." He said, "I haven't had a good haircut since I left." Right. And I said, "Well, I don't know how we're gonna do it. You know how they are at the stadium." So he ended up calling the stadium, and they okayed it.
Oh wow!
So that particular day was Eric Hosmer's call-up day.
Oh wow! Wow!
I don't know the relationship. I don't know the relationship with DeJesus and Hosmer before then, but God is so good. The timing was so right that I had just got done cutting David's hair, who played for the opposing team.
Right.
And then he walked out of the barbershop room that I was using. I wouldn't even call it a barbershop room. I would just call it a closet, a junk room. They had everything in there from ladders to baby pins to golf clubs to bobbleheads, all kind of promo stuff. I just cut around. I had a chair in there, a fold out type of, and I made the best of the situation and walk up out of curtain every time. But that particular day, David DeJesus walked out of that room and passed Eric Hosmer and said, "Yo, kid, you look bad. You need to get a haircut. It's your debut. You gotta go see my feet." Right. So he was like, "Oh, you're right. I need a haircut." So he came in. Our relationship was established. I gave him a haircut. Well, I started his haircut. This is the craziest thing too. I started his haircut, and then the Royals press was looking for him. Everyone was like, "Where's Eric? Where's Eric?"